Hey, code. Work on some more Splat, huh? Yeah, family's doing pretty well. We've got a heavy snowfall this evening, so we'll see how much we get. It's gonna be like a foot or something crazy. Haven't had any snow this winter yet, and then we get a foot of snow in one night, so it's gonna be interesting for sure. But yeah, I think I'm just about ready for this challenge as well. And what I need to do is pull up the little game thing. Heck yeah, hot chocolate and a film. Started looking at some Stardew Valley mods as well. I think we're going to start implementing some of those into our games. But we want to... I'm probably going to start us off with like some of the quality of life, non-cheaty mods. Like a lot of... Basically just a lot of mods that add data into the game, where it eliminates the need to constantly go out to the wiki to look up, does this fish spawn in spring during the rain, or is it only during the fall during the sun in a river, or is it in the ocean? It's all built into the game, so they have a lot of stuff like that. Some nice mod packs in there, so I've kind of got those working, downloading in the background. Not related to my game dev, but I guess I'm just stalling at this point. All right. I'm going to pick the game. So for anyone just joining in or watching this, Code here in chat put together this challenge program for me. So the asset pack I'll select from is here in this sprite sheet, which is in 2 parts. And then we're going to pick at random 3 elements. All right, so it's going to be a collecting game using a fixed camera and played with the keyboard only. Okay, so no mouse clicks to play the game. All right. So let's see here. I feel like I need to add a text element to my screen here to hold those. One second, let's put this together here in OBS. It's a little bit big. All right. This will be your prompt for tomorrow as also. Nice. All right then. Oh, and look, it says good luck and have fun. That was nice. All right, so I'm going to... I'm going to start my timer. And then I'm going to start. All right, we have an on-screen timer. All right, so it's a game about collecting, or that involves collecting. With a fixed camera and a keyboard. The fixed camera and the keyboard, pretty straightforward. Collecting, also pretty common. So knowing that the asset pack uses really small pixel art, basically placeholder pixel art, I'm going to go with a mobile landscape at 1280 by 720. Game Jam rush code incoming. All right, here we go. So fixed camera. All right, first thing I ever do is drop that background color to something not obnoxious. And all right, I'm gonna probably need some layers. Let's go and add layers. So background and UI. Get those sorted out. And let's see, what other properties should I adjust here? So 1280 by 720. I'm going to say no changes to the game size. Yeah, that would be nice. It's that color by default. Okay, that should work. So what I've done is in that sprite sheet, I've went ahead and cut out a few of those. So I'm going to start by adding an object, and this is going to be the player. So let me go ahead and import an image. Okay, this is the player object. Again, really, really small. So I think what I could do though, since we have a fixed camera, it's probably not going to be zoomed in on the character and then following the character around. It's probably going to be like, I think this is like the room-based fixed camera, right? So we're basically looking at a room or a space, and the character will move around within the frame, right? Right. All right, so there's this, and then should we add like a neck to this? It's kind of like a skeleton. Let's see if this size is like just a little bit better. So if I just hit preview here. Yeah, I think that'll work. All right, we're gonna go with that. I just basically times it by 3. Let's go ahead and add in something else. We'll just call this an enemy, I guess. I don't even know what my game is yet. I'm just adding stuff in. Should probably double check that the points didn't mess up. So let's see, 18, 18. Okay, let's do another one. Yeah, it does have a lot of fun little sprites. Actually, before I add in more of those, I do want to add in a block thing. Yeah, 5 minutes down. Okay. Gotta find a color that doesn't clash too much, because that block is going to be gray. So if I add those out here, what are we looking at? Maybe I should have made that a tiled sprite. All right, so we need like an idea. So it's going to be a game about collecting. So let me see. I need an object to collect, and if I'm limited to the asset pack here, let me go over to GIMP. We need something to collect, and since everything here is kind of profile. Yeah, exactly. I start with a basic sprite and then you need to tile it. All right, so I'm just going to assume that I'm doing kind of a platformer here because everything is just like straight on profile and it's not like a side-scrolling game. So I might do this kind of platformer-y and we'll see how it goes. So maybe he just needs to start off by collecting some potions. Or she. No, I didn't play Golden Axe. All right, let's take this and then export that. I'll just call it red bottle. Is it good? Okay, and apply. Let's go ahead and give player some behaviors. Platformer character. Oh, it has a guy you hit to make him drop potions. Interesting. Okay. All right, let's go and add in, oops. I do need some external events. Let me rename this first thing into just level. Let's start with some sort of an external layout. We'll call it level 1. We'll tie that into level. Let's grab our tiled block and just make some sort of a basic semblance of a level. Now this is code. This is your domain. You've made. You're onto your second full-blown platformer right now. So I'm going to do this just to kind of test out the platformer character parameters and see what we like. Okay. Then level, let's open up the events. Let's do a global variable for current level. And we'll just start that off on 1. So we'll say at the beginning of the scene, we'll check that variable value. Current level is equal to 1. Here we go. External layout at 0, 0, 1, something like that. Whoa. Wait, why are there 2? Did I put one on the main level? Also, I need to make that block into a platform. Oh, you were thinking about the platform approach as well. Honestly, it's a pretty... The asset pack to me just says, make this a platformer or maybe like a side scroller. Okay, 47 minutes to go. What was I looking for? This. Okay, I have 2 of those. So let's get rid of that. Oops. Don't need that. Level 1. Then, yeah, let's go. Let's delete this individual block. Don't need that. Tile block. Behavior. Platform. We'll say, sure, you can grab the ledge. We're going to need... Well, let's go ahead and double check the player movement. Okay, and let's also set this as the scene to start all previews. You might go outside your comfort zone and do top down. Daring. Okay, one thing I do want to do is allow WASD controls here, WASD. So let's say add external events. This first one will be player. Okay, so W, that will be simulate up. It's not very happy about that. Okay, it likes that better. There we go. So W, let's do A. And this will be left. S. And then D. Okay, let's give that a quick test. Use remap behavior. Oops, it would be helpful. Does remap behavior do this? If you're not using animation, then remap is good. Gotcha. All right, I am going to go ahead and add mirror flipping, though, for the character. Otherwise, I think we'll just go insane. So let me think. Is there a convenient way to do the mirror flip? I know, obviously, you can do the if left is pressed, then if the animation is not facing left, switch it to face left. Is there like a quick behavior for that, though? Flip. Platformer character animator. Yeah, run, jump. We don't have run and jump. We don't have all that. So I don't think I need that. Are you saying to just check the moving direction? Or face? I know face forward will actually, I think it just rotates the object. Like an arrow would if you're shooting an arrow. So that might not be the right thing. Tell you what, I think that should be simple enough to do manually. Here's what I'm going to do. Just because I don't know the better way. 16.5, 16.5. 41 minutes. Use the built-in flip horizontal action on button press. Okay, let me check that out. Oops, not there though. We want it on A. So A we don't flip, and then no, D we don't flip, and then A we flip. If I'm looking at this correctly. Oh, you're right. Good call, good call. Okay. All right, no mouse though. So let's see, what can we do? Collect things, and then so we've got bottles to collect. So to make sure that we at least check that off the list, let's make bottles collectible. Can use arrow keys for shooting. Yeah, you could do that too. Okay. Let's play a sound. I can probably pick one from my device. Let me see here. I'm not sure if I have a good potion sound, but I have some other sounds. Some jetpack sounds in there from our last game jam. Okay, maybe this chime. And I don't know how loud this will be, so I hope this doesn't... Let's give it a shot, though. Let's see. It would be helpful if I would call those events. Let's do that. And then let's also modify this level. Let's put another one of these bottles way down here. Are you able to hear that? Yeah, we did place pretty decent. I was happy with that. It's a really good jam. I wish we could get more group activity going. Felt a little bit bad about this last one. I felt like it was you and me, but then your computer wasn't cooperating very well, but you did manage to provide a lot of the code. But it just turned out to be a lot. Still a game, though, technically. It's still a good game. Need to polish it up. Okay, so we've got bottles. I wouldn't mind... I'm curious. I just want to give those some gravity so that they sit nicely on the platforms. So I'm technically making the bottles into platform characters. But I disabled the default controls on them. Okay. Let's say... What? You basically need to collect the bottles, survive the enemies, and escape. So we need something to escape to. And we also need enemies. So why don't we do one of those? And how do we want to track the bottles? I have an idea. We could do a variable. Collect and give to an NPC to exit. Yeah, I could do that. Let's do a scene variable. First one. This will be the number of collectibles needed. We set that to -1 so that if that ever shows up, I know it's not working. Have number above NPC head. Yeah. You could do that. And now it goes really fast. I'm almost halfway through already. And this was mostly just overhead stuff with setting it up. Let's say... Okay, wood red bar, initial value. In fact, let's just... I don't even care about that. Actually, initial value would be 0. So I drag this out here. Let's not show the label. Don't... Actually, the label's fine. So what we'll do is... we do another external event. This will be bar. And then let's say at the beginning of the scene, bar value, maximum value will be set to scene collectibles needed. And then the not the maximum value, but just the current value will be set to 0. Okay. Then we'll do an update and we'll say if the value is not equal to... I actually need to set up another scene variable. That can start at 0. It's not equal to that. Then we'll change the value to that. Okay, I think that's correct. I think we're going to need another variable to say basically I'll just say all done. 31 minutes. So the next thing we'll say is if the value of the bar is equal to collectibles needed, then we'll change the value of the variable, all done, to true, which is going to be the thing to let us proceed to the exit. That's probably why I'm slow, to be honest. Let's see then. So let's see if this works. Right now, so let's do 4 bottles. Oops. Oh god. In fact, let me just make playtesting really, really simple here. Let's just put them in a row here. Let's see how this goes. Oh, I always do this. Bar. It's set to -1. Why is it? Let's see here. What did I do wrong? At the beginning of the scene, change the maximum value. What is the value? What did I set that to? Collectibles needed. Oh, that's why. Okay. What we're going to do then is the number of collectibles needed is set to the scene instances count of the bottle red. Okay, set that. Now I need to update the variable when the player hits the thing, the bottles. So add 1. Okay. There we go. Now if I change the number of bottles, it should automatically update the bar. Simple enough. So we want an NPC, you said. Let me think. Maybe I'll get the enemy out there first to give us the challenge that we need. But how do I want to make this enemy? Let me double check something. I'm going to come back to this, because I actually did this in a different game, and I want to see how I did it real quick. It's been a minute. Can only kill once you have all bottles, then no NPC needed. Okay, I'm going to take a screenshot of this. Let me do something like this. Okay. Set up the enemy's external events. I'm sure there will be some beginning of the scene stuff. We also need a repeat for each instance of the enemy. In fact, let me go ahead and create a group here, because I might use a group. I don't know if I have time to do a group. I guess we could do health. Don't forget to add an external event to the main scene. Thank you. Okay. All right. So I think for the enemies, I need to add, I think they have platformer behavior. But disable the controls. And maybe slow them down a little bit. Let me see here. Oh, and I need to check their points. Hold on, why is... Since everything should be facing to the right, I'm going to start this guy off flipped. Okay, apply and apply. Then... for each instance of enemies... if the enemy is horizontally flipped, and then the other thing that I need to do is create just like a bar thing. Just a regular old sprite will work. I'm going to make it invisible. Just something like that. And then what I can do is place these out here. I don't know. There are lots of ways you could go about this, but let's say if I wanted the enemies to just stay on one of the platforms. Yeah. This is like your this is like your save a dollar version of enemy AI. So start these guys out here, and then let's go back to the logic here. So if, let's see. Wait, why do I have 2 over here? Interesting. All right, so let's say enemy is not horizontally flipped, then we will horizontally flip. And then basically do the reverse, or the inverse. And then also... I think also right here we do... Oops. Simulate pressing right. This might not work at all. We're going to find out. Oh no, it didn't work at all. They ran away. Okay, let me double check one more thing here. So you could also make it... You use a left and right trigger object, then test distance, stop, flip, and move. Yeah, that would work too. I had some points in this other game, but we could try distance as well. So instead of doing the point check, we could say, what, distance? Let's say 20 pixels, something like this. Let's see here. How am I doing? 17 minutes. So very short on time here. We've got the collectibles going. We just need enemies and an exit route. Okay, you said you do left and right trigger object, then test distance, stop, flip, move. Okay, so stop. Maybe I need to actually reverse these here. Because they get there and they get stuck. Test for trigger X position or enemy. I'm not sure I'm following. I think what's happening is an infinite loop here. Let me try this maybe a slightly different way. Yeah, so maybe I check the distance first. And then so this is going to be for flipping. And then we'll separately have moving, I think. So I think we'll still get a loop here, but let's see. If distance is X and trigger X is more than enemy. I see what you're saying. Okay, so in other words, if the bar is to the right of the enemy, then flip the enemy. And vice versa. Maybe? Let's see. Just need to change probably one thing here. For starters, I think... There we go. Okay, and then... Okay, if the X position of the bar is greater than the enemy's, meaning it's to the right, flip the enemy horizontally. If the enemy is flipped, simulate pressing left. Let's see. Should be simple here. Something's tripping it up. 12 minutes. Yeah, it seems like that would work, doesn't it? Okay, I'll tell you what we're gonna do. We're gonna skip enemy movement for now. Just skip it for now. Unfortunately. Try using in collision. Okay, let's try collision. Oh wait, wrong thing. Ah, good call. It's just one of those weird things. Good call. All right. Then for, let's see. At the beginning of the scene, I want to do a, for each object, we're going to hide these. Use the expensive checks. Yep. Premium stuff. All right, there we go. I was thinking let's put projectiles into the game, but I think first I want to just get some levels put together, and including an exit. So we need an exit object. Let me see what we have here. I mean, we obviously have doors. Why don't we just grab a door? Yeah, that's true. We could just randomize the bottles. Door closed. How are we doing on time? And then door opened. Oh, I'm not sure I sent that to the right area. Okay. Also, what size is the store? Kind of scared now for tomorrow. Man, this hour is flying by. Holy crap. Holy crap. Like, this is it. Like, all we can do now is... Let's see how... Is that about right? That's about right. All we can do now... Scared faces. All we can do now is make the character go through the door. And we need a couple more levels. So... Let's see... Why don't we try randomizing? Let's go to the collectibles at the beginning of the scene. There's going to be no polish, by the way. This is it. Beginning of the scene, let's just place the bottles. Let's see. We need, like... Number of bottles, we're going to assign that. Random in range, well, let's just say 5 to 10. Then we will repeat. I hope this works. Num bottle times create a bottle at position X position random in range, or random from 0. Actually, let's do different. Random in range from about 10 to scene window width, which would be 1280, we'll say 1270. Y position, we could say anywhere from 0 to about 500. I don't want them to fall out of the scene. For 1 hour, it's good so far. Yeah. All right, so let's see what happens here, if that even works. Also, let's get rid of these pre-placed ones. It's gonna be funny watching them fall. Hi, enemies. I'm not afraid of you. All right, we need to be able to go through that door. We're also going to say if the player touches an enemy, they're dead. No time for health points. And then also, if the player is dead, we just need to like restart the scene. But I need like a main menu to go back to. 2 minutes. Right now, all I can do is just restart the whole thing. Just reload scene for next level. Add more bottles. Yeah, something like that. Then also, if the player is in collision with the door, what variables do I have in place? We're gonna take the player size and tween. Well, I didn't add tween to the player. All right, we're just gonna delete the player. and let's see if that works. Oh no. I touched a bad guy. 1 minute. Obviously, I didn't put the checks in. So if players in collision with the door, and if variable value all done is true. Okay, I'm afraid this is it, yo. That being said, why don't we go ahead and put these enemies where we want them. Try to make it somewhat of a challenge. So bottles can land in a lot of places now. That is it. That is the game. Alright, so let's see what we've got. Wow, all the bottles landed over where I am. Okay. So the challenge is you have no health. You have 1 health point. So there's that. I mean, technically it's a successful level. It just doesn't have much visual feedback. And there's no other level. But look at the replayability. 5 bottles. Also 5 bottles. Wait, why am I getting 5 all the time? Add reload on exit. Oh, like when you exit, just reload the level. Yeah, that would be smoother. Okay, there we go. Now we have 8 bottles. Yeah, so it's going to be pretty random. We could even do something similar with the enemies too, you know, just drop those in. But again, that's 1 hour. If I'm playing by my own rules, or technically some of your rules too, then that's what we have to work with. Alright, let me drop this in the... and what the hell's going on here? Let me drop the link. So, share. It'd be hilarious to watch the enemies drop in. They might just drop on top of you. There we go. Took me a minute to find it. I don't know if people in YouTube can actually click that link, but I'll put it in the description as well. Cool. No, Code, thanks for setting it up. I might tweak it a little bit. Obviously, I don't think this is going to win any prizes, but no, thanks for putting the asset pack, or linking me the asset pack, and putting the randomization together. Oh, we got 10 bottles there. Will it let me win, or will it let me exit if I don't have enough? Did I set that variable correctly? I did. So you do have to get all the bottles. Ooh. So, oh, what? That was weird. I like touched the bottle, but then I was also touching the door. Yeah, another challenge next week. All right, I put the link as living proof of my 1 hour thing. Now what I'm going to do, now that the challenge is done, I can do whatever I want with my own time. Now I'm going to add an animation to that door real quick before I hop off here. Because gosh dang it, I put the animation frame in there. I want to set that. You're on your tablet at the moment? Fair enough, fair enough. I was going to say if... I guess I need another external event. Maybe I'll just throw this in the primary level. If all done is true, and if door animation by name is closed, let's set that to open. No, actually that's it. Okay, so that, and then what other thing? I did want to fix the this garbage right here real quick too. And this seemed too short for some reason, so I'm going to expand that. Add enemy dropping. All right, let's do that too then. Let's get rid of these guys. It'll actually make adding new levels in really, really fast. So again, the challenge is done, but this is just Corey doing Corey things with his own time at this point. So for the collectibles, I have this event. So I'm going to copy that. But instead of creating bottles, we're going to create enemies. It is not happy with that for some reason. Oh wait, why am I changing that? I'm losing it. We'll say num enemies. Give a buffer on exposition for players spawn. Yeah, we'll have to do that for sure. The number of enemies, let's set that anywhere from... It's kind of hard to say. It could get pretty ridiculous. We could say 6 to 15 or something. And then right here, I might even do a sub event and say something like if enemies exposition is your stream's going to be a bit manic as you're down to a single screen at the moment. Oh yeah. Basically, you're not going to be reading chat unless you have it on your phone or something. See, I'm trying to think if the exposition is like within a range. Chat on tablet. I don't know. Actually, that I can't think of the event for that one. Maybe instead I'll just somehow do, whenever I develop each level, I'll give the player just a little roof. We'll do this a very basic way. Problem solved. All right, let's see what this looks like. Oh my. I think they're running off the edge of the world. Down there they are. I don't think we even put guardrails on for the player. You can just run off the world. Yeah, unless they spawn lower. Could say if enemies distance to player is let's say within 100, maybe 120, then actually maybe, let's see. Then set the Y position as 0. That would work. I was thinking of randomizing it again, but then you have to check again. Going for a little ride there, enemies. Okay. Honestly, if the player were able to shoot these guys, it might be too easy of a game. Oh no. Alright, I want to see the door animation too. Okay, the door opened. And we won. So this is basically a license to print money. Alright, last little quality of life thing I wanted to do, maybe the last thing, is I wanted to actually have the player tween away when he enters the door, not just disappear. Not a bad 1 hour game. So instead of deleting the player, we're going to do that down here. Yeah, so we're going to take the player. Oh, I know what it is. Maybe... trying to decide, does that make the player fall through the platform if you disable it? No. Okay. In that case, enemies need to stop as well. Yeah. I need to add the tween to the player character. And then okay, I think this is what I want. You said enemies need to stop as well. Set to no. Good call, good call. Okay, and then do we have another sound for this? Maybe I can find one just from the game. I don't think I have a specific one on my computer for this. Yeah, we do need a wait. Well, I have a kind of a 2-second wait. But I guess that would be good as well. Let's see. Sorry if this is loud. I don't know if it's loud or if you can hear nothing. Maybe just that one there. a little bit Mario-like. Let's put that on channel 2. Volume 100 should be fine. All right, let's give that a quick test. So that's going to be, we're starting the timer closing. That's going to be 2 seconds. We're tweening the character itself over 1.5 seconds. Don't think we even need to bother deleting the character. We supposedly paused or disabled the platformer behaviors. Let's give it a shot. It's taken forever. Let's see. Start or reset. I think it's because this is going multiple times. What we can do is just to wait. I think that'll be simpler. Yeah, exactly. It's infinite. Let's just do a wait. Oh man, there's a lot here on this one. The door opened. All right, that worked better. It's not great, obviously. Character scale less than 0.3. Yeah, that would work too. Yeah, we've got a loop. Obviously, if we were going to spend more time on it, we'd build more levels. There we go. All right. Let's share the new link now. All right, that is it. That's the stream. That was fun. All right, yeah. Ping me whenever you're doing your challenge stream, and I'll be on there. So, yeah, you have a good night as well. And anyone else who joined in, hope you have a great day, great night. And whatever it is you're working on, I certainly hope that you have fewer bugs than I do. So thanks for watching, and we'll catch you next time.